What's good, YouTube? So, let's talk about Giants, right? So, Giants lost against the 49ers, which I said the Giants was going to win, but then again, I saw the Giants wearing those throwback 90s jerseys, and I said that they was probably going to lose, and I was right. In my mind, I said that they was going to lose, but I did say that they was going to win. Um, I did not know they was going to play with those helmets. I mean, those jerseys, because every time they play with those jerseys, they always lose. I think they only won one time in those jerseys, and that was probably back in 2019, 18 with Daniel Jones. Um, but other than that, it's been a curse every time they wear those jerseys. But they lost. Obviously, 49ers are way much better than they are. It's not even close. And then they lost to Matt Jones. Matt Jones, really? We lost a backup quarterback. But that's not the, you know, I mean, that's not the only time the Giants lost to backup quarterbacks. But every time a starter is out, we always lose to a backup, which is crazy. Um, this team looks lost. Um, now, I know a lot of Giants fans want um, Brian Dable gone, which is not going to happen. Because right now, um, Jackson Dart is on training wheels right now, which is basically Brian Dable has another year, or not even another year. He has one more year. He has next year to put it together. You know, um, he has one more year to put it together. This year it's a squash because it's Dart's rookie year. You know what I'm saying? So like you have to have progression. You know, because if you fire him and you bring in somebody else, guess what? That person is gonna want a new quarterback or wants his own quarterback, and you don't want that. And that's the same crap that happened to Daniel Jones. These kids were getting recycled through head coaches. He never found a rhythm. When he did find a rhythm with Pat Shermer, 2 years, boom, out the window. And it was just a revolving door over and over and over. So you run it back with Dable one more time. This time, Jackson Dart is going to be in his second year. He's going to have weapons. He's going to have a decent line. He's going to have a running game. And he's going to have a better defense. Because look what the Giants did for Eli Manning. Look at the weapons Eli Manning had. First of all, he had Sumer. He had a very good running game in Tiki Barber. Okay, he had a very good defense that he could lean on. Yeah, he did. And he didn't have the best rookie start. Neither did Peyton Manning. But they got better over the years. Um, so that's what they need to do for Darts. For Darts. They need to put weapons around him. They need to put weapons around him. Have a better OC or DC. For the ones who don't know what a DC is a defensive coordinator. And that's pretty much it. Just give him a decent running game. Give him some weapons. Tight ends that can catch. Good defense, and we should flip the table, you know? But if not, we can't run it back with the same team. Even if we do fire Joe Shane, because again, And that's another thing. If the Giants fire Joe Shane, that team is going to have to go through another phase of learning in a whole different scheme. You know, like we know the 3-4 doesn't work. I've been saying this: the Giants don't belong in the 3-4. They need to go back to a 4-3 where they were comfortable. And yeah, basically it. Because we don't have linebackers like that. A 3-4 works for a team like the Ravens, the Steelers, the Dolphins. You know why? Because they draft and groom great defensive. Or not, yeah, they they draft and groom great linebackers. We don't. We groom edge rushers, defensive tackles. That's what we groom, or that's what we best at. When we had OC Tuck, Strahan, JPP, we had a lot of great defensive tackles like Jake Barry Cofield, Jay Bromley, um, Jonathan Hankins. You know, the list goes on. We had great defensive players over the years, and we switched to 3-4 because we saw everybody else doing it and having success, knowing that we don't have the players to go out there and execute. You know, we don't have a great linebacker that can. I mean, we have one in the Abdul Carter, but they don't know how to use him. You know, the defensive coordinator Shane Bowen don't know how to use him. Like the reason why Michael Parsons had the rookie year that he had was because he had a great defensive coordinator that knows how to use him, move him around the field, get him to his sweet spot. We don't have that. So it's a take your poison type of off season. It's either you fire Brian Dable. Okay, if you do that, the next head coach is going to want his own quarterback. But like the new head coach don't care if he's coming off his rookie year or he's coming into his second year. He's going to want his quarterback. But if you stick with Brian Dable, give him another shot, or give him one last shot next year. Clean house, like give him weapons, which we don't have our third round pick. So we have picked first, second, fourth, fifth, sixth, and seventh. Um, so yeah. So basically, just move on and you know on to the Bears, which is not our division rival. We just a rivalry with them. Um, so yeah, and even the Ravens, I mean, even the Bears put up 40 something, 47 points. So they even playing great. So that's probably would be another loss, you know. So, or maybe we could sneak a win like we did against the Chargers. Um, and then we don't face the Cowboys until week what 17. So, and then we have one more crack at the Commanders. Um, so yeah, so with only 8 games left, there's not going to be no trade, man. I mean, we're 8 games away from the season being over. At this juncture, just play with the player, just play with the players you have, and you know that's about it. You know, um, there's no need of, you know, like getting a player in free agency is not going to help this team whatsoever. Um, like you've seen a lot of teams, Washington 360. You know what I'm saying? They fired everybody, head coach, owner, GM. Look at them now. Even though, yeah, they got blown out against the Seahawks, but they'll be fine. Um, they'll be fine moving forward. 'Cause remember, Jaden, uh, Jaden Daniels was coming off an injury, so I'm not saying that that's the reason why they lost. But he just didn't look himself, you know. He was wildly inconsistent throughout the whole entire game. So, um, but it is what it is. You know, just move on and prepare for the Bears. Now let's talk about my Knicks. My Knicks bounced back against the Bulls. Obviously, the first meeting that we had, they beat us. Um, they beat us, and obviously we faced them again tonight or yes, no, yesterday. Because it's 12 o'clock right now, so it's the November 3rd. So, and we don't face them again until I think December 22nd. If I'm mistaken, I could be wrong. Um, but yeah, both are a great team. Obviously, we broke their winning streak. Obviously, they were 5-0, going on 6-0, but they're 5-1. So did the Spurs, who lost against the Suns. Obviously, Wimby didn't pull through on my parlay, but I was able to win 35. I was supposed to win 55, but, obviously due to Wimby not playing up to his standards, he cost me a little bit of money, not a lot. Um, but it is what it is. So yeah, so Cat, OG, Cal, Jalen Brunson, they all played well. But the sad part is we play on the back to back, and we're facing the 1-5 Wizards team, which we should defeat. I mean, I don't think. It sucks playing on back to back. I've played on a back to back before. It's trust me, it's grueling. Your body's not been fully recovered from the last game, and you're going up against a team that's fresh. I don't even think the Wizards played yesterday. Um, but yeah, you're going up against a very fresh team, and then you're all banged. Well, not really banged up, but you're kind of sore. So I don't know how well the Knicks will play this year back to back. Because I know most teams, they don't really give it their all sometimes because they just want to, move on to the next game. Probably get those 2 to 3 days off for us and then come back the next following game. Um, but there should be no excuse. We should beat this Wizards team without even a scratch. But, they are a professional team, so you have to give them some type of, respect regardless of their record. They don't play as a 1-5 team. They have a lot of young dudes on the team, so um, they're gonna give us everything that they have. And it's more of a geographic battle. Washington, New York, you know, nation's capital versus Big Apple. So yeah, Mia Khalifa is a huge um, Wizards fan. she's been a huge Wizards fan since uh, Gilbert Arenas was there. Anyways, man, that's it. That's all. Knicks won, Giants lost. Knicks future is looking bright, or season is looking bright. While my Giants are recovering the pieces. And no, Cam Scatterpool and Malik Neighbors wouldn't help this team either. I'm sorry. The way that the Giants is right now, they just need a total 360 rebuild. You know, most people might say, well, why don't they just sell the team? They sell a portion of the team. They didn't sell the whole thing. I think they sold like 2% of their share, 2% or 3% of their shares. Um, so they still technically have control over the organization. Um, but who knows? Maybe it is ownership. I don't like for me. I'll never blame the players. I'll never blame the coaches. I'll never blame the DC, the OC. It starts up top. The owner hire who he wants as head coach and GM, and then those guys, you know, bring in the guys they want, and they draft the guys that they want. They put two and two together, and they draft the players that they want. That's how it works. And then the players go out, they execute. But the problem with the New York Giants is they have a head coach that do not know how to coach. Brian Dable is more better, or Brian Dable is more suited to be a OC than a head coach. Like you saw that in Buffalo. He was not the head coach when he was in Buffalo. He was the OC. You come here, you give up play calling, pick up play calling. Like go back and look at that game against the Arizona Cardinals, where we were down like what 19-0 or 20-0, 21-0, and then at halftime, boom, we scored like 20 unanswered points. That was Brian Davis' play calling. Because when Brian Dable got here, but way before Brian Dable got here, Mike Kepka was still here. And his play calling was horrendous. So it couldn't be Mike Kepka calling the plays. I mean, he'll get creative from time to time with his play calling, but the play calling that I saw, that was totally Brian Dable. So, like I said, this year is more of a training session for not a session for Daniel Jones, for Jackson Dart. Next year, the wheels come off. Next year is shut up or put up. Now again, we don't have enough draft capital because we gave up our third round pick for Brian Burns or Paulson the Depot. So we are without our third round pick. We don't have to worry about quarterback because obviously there's only going to be two on the roster next year. That's Jameis Winston and Jackson Dart. Could we add another one? Sure. Do we add an offensive line? Do we add defense? Where do we lack in generally? For me, first of all, we need to go back to a different scheme. We need to go back to the 4-3. Because that's what our bread and butter was at with the 4-3 scheme. We're not equipped to play a 3-4. Never. It worked in the 80s because we had Lawrence Taylor and Banks. We had great linebackers. We don't have that. Like, I'd rather the Giants go out and be somebody who they are rather than being somebody that they're not. The Giants are trying to keep up with the Joneses and it's not working. Again, the reason why teams that do play in a 3-4 that works because they have, for one, they have the scheme, and for two, they have the players to do it. But anyways, man, that's all. Like, comment, subscribe. On the road to 2K.